It's common knowledge that the tennis court surfaces highly influence the bounce of a tennis ball. The International Tennis Federation regulates and classifies these different tennis court surfaces by their theoretical speed. To become a complete tennis player, you need to master each tennis court surfaces this beautiful game can be played on. But we must accept that certain types of tennis courts are suitable for certain players and have contributed to their success. Without further ado, starting with clay courts. Found mostly in Europe and South America, clay tennis courts are the dream surface for baseline players. The French Open has been dominated by such players, especially in the Open era. Clay courts are the most sensitive to spins and the slowest of all. This tennis court surface requires specific training, physical condition, and skill set. Clay courts allow players to slide, which makes them more mobile and adds flexibility to their movement. Defensive players and those who like to play from the baseline are often the ones that strive on clay courts. Take advantage from the slow and the higher bounce of the ball, which give them enough time to react if they have the stamina. And one of the many advantages from a practical point of view, ball impacts leave a mark on this surface, which is a great advantage when reviewing whether a ball was out. Players are less prone to joint injuries because of the softness of the surface and the ability to slide. This surface has seen the birth of absolutely dominant players such as Rafael Nadal, also known as the King of Clay, Bjorn Borg, Chris Evert, Serena Williams. Also are big names who did great in clay, who did. Grass courts. Grass is the historically prominent surface. That's where tennis was born and initially played. This surface favors offensive players with big serves and a strong net game. It is where serve and volley reign supreme. Wimbledon is the main event for this type of surface. This tournament gave birth to quite a lot of champions who could master the low bounce and the quickness of grass balls. You see, if a ball travels at 100 mph before it hits the ground, a bounce on a clay surface will reduce its speed to 78 miles per hour. Can you guess what the impact would be on grass courts? From 100 miles per hour, the ball will travel at 92 miles per hour after bouncing on the grass. That's a 14 miles per hour difference for a strong forehand. Can you imagine the difference it would make on a 150 miles per hour John Isner serve? Overall, it is physically forgiving surface and less tiring. And the soft nature of the ground protect the players from injuries. Roger Federer, Venus Williams, Petra Kvitova, and Bjorn Borg are some of the best named to ever do it in grass courts. As for hard courts, you know that the US Open used to be played on clay courts? Much like the Australian Open, who was played on grass until 1988, the US Open became a hard court tournament in 1978. Neither fast nor slow, this intermediary surface presents very few disadvantages. The main one resides in the fact that it's a very demanding surface for players' articulations. Many players do get injured playing on hard courts. These injuries are caused by the lack of flexibility, and with more friction between the shoe and the court, the higher the chance of an injury. It is hard on the body. Strength and stamina highly recommended, which make it not suited to older players. The construction of hard courts in the United States is called DecoTurf and is usually green or blue. Meanwhile, in Australia, they use a material called plexicushion, which is a bit slower. Hard courts are a rather neutral surface that fits all playing styles. No impact on ball trajectory with what we can call a normal bounce. Some players remain hard courts experts, like Novak Djokovic, Steffi Graf, Roger Federer, and Serena Williams. There is also carpet courts. Never used on the professional circuit, carpet courts are made of artificial turf mixed with sand. There are, however, some tournaments still being held on carpet courts such as the Tournoi de Quebec. They are the closest thing there is to grass and are a good surface to practice on, with a very low ball bounce and fast ball speed. But it is a higher risk injury. It can be hard on the knees. So, as a summary, in terms of the ball speed, the grass is the fastest and the clay is the slowest. And for the height of the bounce, the grass is the lowest and the clay is the highest. To become a complete tennis player, you need to master each tennis court surfaces this beautiful game can be played on. And of course, naturally, you will excel in one of them. I sincerely hope that this video's helped clarify the differences between these types of tennis courts. See you in the next video.